3BC.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to 3BC. This is your girl, Joy, the cultural liturgist of this cultural conversation. I have my BCs here, KC the Alchemist and Chloe, and we have a special guest today, and that is Nastasia Scott. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So what we're talking about today is snapback culture.
Yes.
And as a lady who is whose snapback is on the struggle bus, I find this quite interesting. It's a thing, it's a movement, and Nastasia has created it and has been pushing this movement. So we wanted to talk about that, and because we talk a lot about body image and body positivity, and sex positivity, of course, but body positivity too, because I think personal sex positivity probably starts with body positivity. So Let's get into it. Nastasia, tell us about Cancel Snapback Culture. And then tell us first about your background. You were or are a model. You on Top Model?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was. So I'm 28 now, so that was like 9 years ago. I'm getting old out here, but it's okay. It was while I was in college. I was on the college season, and it was a good experience. When I got out of college, I modeled full time for a few years, about 4 years in New York City. That's where I currently live, moving to New Jersey next week, trying to get out the city. So I think for me, I didn't have the normal pressure that a lot of models have in the industry, just because I kind of came in with the atypical body type, very thin, but very short. So I wasn't already fitting into that kind of like mold, short for the modeling industry. So I did the best I could in the modeling world, and I did what I had to do up until I had my first baby. And I kind of put a pause on modeling just because I developed an illness called hyperemesis because of my pregnancy. And then I went back. I'm educated and as a teacher. So I started teaching after my first baby. And then even though still technically signed with the modeling agency. And and then I just had my second baby 9 months ago. And that's where Cancel Snapback Culture was kind of born, because I realized my first pregnancy, I was doing everything I could because I was still in the modeling world to make sure that it looked like I snapped back, even when I didn't. I was wearing one-piece bikinis. I was wearing clothes as tight as I could, so it looked like everything was just sucked in, right? Trying to fit into my size 0 stuff that I was wearing before, just to appear smaller. And then my second pregnancy, I realized that I was doing that, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? Why am I trying to appear smaller than I am? I gave birth to, at this point, 2 kids, had lost 16 pounds with my second pregnancy, lost 15 pounds the first one because of my illness with hyperemesis. So when I was finally able to gain weight the second time, that's a blessing, from being that sick, having to get IVs and all that. To finally gain some weight, I was happy with that. And that's when I was just kind of like, you know what? Everybody's expecting women at this point to snap back and just suck it all in and just, and who is anybody to tell us what we're supposed to do with our bodies?
Right. Well, having children, and those of us that have children will tell you, it's not an easy experience. Like it's just, it's not easy on your body.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on during your pregnancy and afterwards. Just hormonally, you're not always even balanced. So. You did, especially if you are an older mom. I had my daughter just shy of 35. She was born September 3rd, Virgo season coming up. And she was born September 3rd, and my birthday was like 2 weeks later. So, I was an older mom. So the snapback wasn't as easy for me as a younger mommy as it would be for a younger mommy. But women do feel a lot of pressure, especially women in modeling and Hollywood, music. And I just recently heard, and I want to ask you about this, I just recently heard that they are getting surgery on the table. Like I didn't know that was a thing. I mean, I probably would have. I couldn't afford it. I wouldn't have been able to afford it. I'm not gonna lie, but I would have thought about it. I would have tried to come up, collect some cans or something, and do a GoFundMe. A whole bunch of crazy shit on GoFundMe. So, but why not this? But yeah, they're on the table getting surgery immediately after having a baby. They're getting like nip tucked.
Yep. Yeah. I think for a lot of women, the worst fear is not snapping back to what they used to be. But from my perception, you are a new person after you have kids. You're new. Your body's new. Your mind is new. Everything is new. So that extra couple pounds ain't going to hurt you.
Your priorities are new too.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt you. I'm one of those people like now after, creating this movement and seeing all the women wearing their Cancel Snapback Culture shirts. I see your Cancel Snapback Culture shirt looking cute. And, I honestly, I've had moments where I've literally cried because I'm just so proud of what this has become and what I'm doing and what we're doing. And to see men in the shirts, to see a majority of, it's strange. You would think it's all moms, but a lot of the people who are wearing these shirts are not mothers. They maybe want to be mothers in the future or just in support of mothers, that they know their own mothers. And that's what I appreciate. I remember when I first launched, a man sent a shirt to his wife who had just given birth. And I was like, oh my God. And they're getting them for baby showers, all that. And it just makes me so happy. And to also know that we're donating to Shades of Blue Project, which gives access to mental health resources for Black mothers who are very underserved in the healthcare industry, the birthing community. Not taken seriously. Postpartum depression is reported less. To know that makes me really happy. So we're doing two things.
Adele Givens had this joke, and I always remember this joke because it was so true. When they did the Queens of Comedy tour, she was like, white women be going to the hospital for shit like exhaustion. She was like, bitch, we ain't got time for no motherfucking exhaustion. But nobody got time for that. I was like, man, that is so true, because that's how we feel. We don't have time for exhaustion. We write off depression as the blahs or just a little touch of the blues or whatever. And we write it off. And, a lot of times people don't see us either. We become kind of invisible in that sense. Our pain becomes invisible in that sense. And until it becomes too late. And that's really unfortunate, but I'm gonna kick it to the other girls. I said my piece, ladies. KC, Chloe.
Well, and as you guys were talking, that made me think. We're expected to snap back both physically and mentally.
Yes,
we're supposed to be just as we were prior to, and except for now that there's this life in. Okay, I just brought life into the world. Am I not allowed to be different now physically? Am I not allowed to feel things mentally? Am I not allowed now to be able to have time to reset into whatever this new version of me is going to be? Because there is now a new version, because I have a new role. And that change didn't come about without some physical changes that you can see and some mental changes that you can't see. We just don't get a space to just be us, whoever we are. And so it's like, my daughter now is still dealing with some postpartum depression, and it's like, please don't feel this pressure to be exactly who you were before this child came into the world. Your everything has changed, and your circumstances have changed. You got a new this. Now you're out in the world, you're moving as a mom and as a young adult. And there is a lot of pressure to do both and to be perfect at both. And we absorb that. And that's how we got to getting our tummy tucks on the table. Girl, you just had a baby. This is traumatic to your body. Don't further traumatize it trying to fit this forced image of desirability.
Absolutely.
And I love, one of the best things that I've seen on Beyonce's internet is Nastasia has a picture of herself in the shirt with her stomach out, like, look, this is the whole me, baby.
It is what it is.
Right. you know, I'm still loved in this world and I still love myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I have those moments. I alternate back and forth. I was like, you gonna get this food pot and love it. But then sometimes I'm like, I hate this fucking food pot.
Yeah.
So I'm like on the back. I go back and forth. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm on the fence. Like it depends on the day and the time of the day and the moment, man. But probably a good, I'll say 60% of the time, 60 to probably 60-ish% of the time, I'm like, you gonna get this food pot. Love that shit.
well, I'm gonna say, yeah. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. No, you go ahead.
So I got some comments like, "Oh my God, you're so brave." I'm like, "Girl, this ain't brave. Going to war is brave. Actually, giving birth is brave. This ain't brave. Me having my stomach out in this photo right now. I didn't think twice because at the end of the day, this is my body from giving birth to my kids. I suffered and I struggled trying to give birth to those kids, trying to be pregnant with those kids. Listen, you're going to get the stomach. And if you don't want to see it, you could swipe. It's okay. Yeah. Because I know that the who I'm targeting right now is the people who need to see that, the women who need to see that, the men who need to see it to know that, you know, it's okay if my wife doesn't bounce back. It's okay if my partner doesn't bounce back. That's who I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about the people who just like, I don't want to see a stretch mark. Like, why am I worried about that? You know?
And that's, I mean, and that also goes back to the unreal body images. Like these body images are unreal, unattainable for the average woman, for most women who are not going under the knife or who aren't willing to starve themselves to death. These bodies are not real. It's not.
Sometimes it's genes. Attainable. It's not going to happen.
Sometimes it's genes. Sometimes genes work in your favor and you're like Jada Pinkett, okay? Yeah, I mean, kind of fuck her, sort of. Fuck Jada, kind of. But, you know, because she
and
got
sometimes,
the genes.
And Chili, I'm going to add Chili to the list,
and
too.
And her mama, because they got the genes. Like, you know what?
Right?
But I'm going to say this snapback culture is not only great for women who've given birth, but for some of us who are in that season of menopause, because it's not an easy snapback either, because a lot of us look pregnant and we don't have kids. Have never had kids, or our kids are grown, but we look like we may be about to give birth at any moment. And with hormones, it's just not going to snap back. Well, not any moment. Well, some people maybe any moment. That might be a different issue. God. You're right, but you know, you look like you're on your way to having a baby at some point. But what I would say is, it's not going to snap back super fast if you're in that season of life. It's not. You have to change your diet. There's so much involved to getting there. But it's a drastic thing. But what about just being healthy is what's important. Yeah. And to know, hey, I'm not going to look like I did at 20. I mean, I may want to wear a bikini. It's not going to look the same as it did at 20. It just may look like it did when my mom put me in one at about 10 months. And, you know, baby was cute then. Baby may be cute again at 48.
And it might be a high-waisted bikini. It ain't going to be
exactly. It might be a little high-waisted. Yeah, might be a little high-waisted, but hey, it's loving your body. Because one thing I can say, when you go to beaches, you see the people who do love their bodies and don't give a damn. And it gives me strength to say, you know what? I'm going to enjoy myself just like they are enjoying themselves. Because you know what? You earn that body most of the time. And, you know, it's not going to easily snap back.
And especially over here in this here redneck Riviera of ours, there are no dams given along the redneck Riviera. And for people that don't know, maybe Nastasia, you East Coast, but that is the stretch along the coastline of Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. I guess Georgia counts, but Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, all those beaches, that coastline, that's the redneck Riviera right there. And there are zero. Damn. Hear me when I tell you.
Not on one.
It's not like being at the Hamptons. It's not like being in the Hamptons. It's not like being in Miami. It's definitely not like being in Santa Monica. Zero. All right. Like, I was like, all right, well then I'm good. At least down here I'm good.
They don't care, you don't care either. Hey,
man,
that's facts.
Yeah, for me, so I've owned Thread Connection, which is the online thrift store, for 4 years now, going on 4 years. And the idea behind that is connecting women through clothing. And with this, everything I do is about women. I've never really been the type to be like, oh, I have a whole bunch of male friends. I've always loved women. Women have always been my people. So everything I do is for women. So when I launched the Moms Who Chill blog, Chills with 3 L's, I wanted to do something that didn't make moms feel so alone, because for me, I didn't have a mom community. I don't really have mom friends. And now that I have the Moms Who Chill blog, I feel like I found a community. And even though it's a small community, it's a community nonetheless. Not a community that's expecting me to post modeling pictures, but that just lets me be myself and lets me do my thing. So Cancel Snapback Culture is also for them and the community that I'm growing there.
For such a young woman and being in such a competitive field like modeling, it's great to see you not feel the need to be competitive and to just embrace women and encourage them to embrace themselves. Because I feel like in the group of millennials, they're doing the very opposite. The opposite is what's become the norm, that they're competing for everything, spotlight, men, clout, whatever. So it's refreshing to see someone say, no, I've always loved women. Women have always been my people. And I've created this safe space for them. And I've created this movement with them in mind, just to promote unity amongst women, where competition is what we're taught.
Yes, my goal is to have 100,000 women as part of the Cancel Snapback Culture movement by the time I'm 30, which I'm 28 now. I turned 28 in July. So by the time I'm 30, 100,000 women. That's what I'm pushing for.
It's going to happen.
All right.
It's going to happen.
All right.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Nastasia, for coming on. Again, Nastasia Scott, you can follow her. Give us your Instagram.
So it's Nastasia Scott, just my name. And then I have Moms Who Chill with 3 L's. You can order the Cancel Snapback Culture shirts in the link of that bio and in the Thread Connection bios.
All right. Got it. So we'll be following all of that. And of course, we'll post that as well. So you can follow her too. Thank you. And guys, love your body. Love the skin you're in. We are in that phase of life, us 40-some ladies, that we are loving the skin we're in. Not all the time, obviously, but way more than we used to, and getting comfortable. And I hope everyone else can feel that way too. Like, you can join the movement, so to speak, and feel the same way about yourself. So love the skin you're in. You can cancel snapback culture because it's ridiculous. And follow Nastasia.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate all of you so much.
Thank you again. This has been 3BC. This is your girl, Joy, the cultural liturgist of this cultural conversation. We talk about stuff that needs to be talked about. And I got my BCs, KC, the Alchemist, and Chloe. We will see y'all next time. Stay safe. Mask up.
3BC, recorded at Kudzukian Studios. Directed, produced, and distributed by Kudzukian.
Join the conversation at facebook.com/3BC.